It's Wednesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Obiachulu in the building. Welcome back. Welcome back. Good to have your fans have been missing you. Hey, Obiachulu. Please tell them, where did you go?
I went on vacation now. I announced it before. You did. Like, well, this vacation is too long. I'm not doing anything here. I need to go back, you know. But I had a good time, you know. It was a good time bonding with the children as well. We're in one space.
You can't send them to their room. You're in the same
room to settle. We're in one space, and for me, it wasn't a vacation. A vacation for them because they had fun. But as parents, I kept shouting, I kept screaming, I kept cooking, you know, it was, but I had fun at least. Now, immediately we got back, I said, everybody, face your room. Remove your items from my room. I don't want to see you people for the next 2 weeks. Everybody should stay in their space. I needed to, you know, breathe. Yeah. But it's good to be back. So what has been happening in our car?
When she was reading papers, I said, do you even understand the English you are speaking?
No clue.
She had no idea. You are sticking paper. Anyway, good to have you back.
Thank you.
Hey, Mariam, how you doing?
Fine, thank you. I mean, we have chocolates and all sorts of stuff. So we're going to feast.
She won't do.
I will flying to Nigeria. Take a picture and post it. Well, I like to see that. How you doing, Tokwe?
I'm good though. I've been waiting, so I'm going to be off the show for a few days next week so that I can rest.
Because this is
small work.
This small work.
Expect that now that you're back, you'll be humble.
Exactly. Because we have been holding the fort.
Please.
You know, and for those that thought that she had run away, she did not run away. She did not jackpot. We will soon find out.
Where are you going next week?
I want to, honestly, I'm taking even social media break. Just 3 days. I'm dropping my phone and having back with nature that I'm looking for.
Come and sit down in my house.
Exactly. She has a lot of.
Actually, I need one of those things.
Yeah. 3 days, no phone, just breathe.
Wow.
And I'm looking forward to
come
it.
Back.
Yes. But we have promo going on at our company. Please check out our company on social media. If you don't know my company, where are you? Please don't let us suffer like this. Come and know our company and check out our promo.
Good. Nice. Okay. I'm happy to have Obiachulu back.
Obviously.
You know, it's good to have you back. It's good to get your perspectives and views and everything.
Definitely.
Mariam and Tokwe have been people.
I'm sure Nigerians are tired of hearing our opinion.
You know? But it's always good to have the mix. It's a good mix. Thank you. Good to have you back. Alrighty, let me go on a quick break. When we return, we'll look at the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Tinubu assures CBN to clear $10 billion forex backlog in 2 weeks. Otedola extols Sanwo-Olu on light blue rail take off. Okay, which story are we taking the nation starting with?
I can start with the Central Bank of Nigeria, and they said they are working with commercial banks to clear $10 billion foreign exchange backlog within the next 2 weeks. This was said yesterday by the acting governor for Lashodun Shonubu, and he said that the backlogs will be cleared through different structures within the forex market. He went ahead to say that the central bank the banks actually control 75% of the forex transactions, and they will play a significant role in seeing that the backlogs are cleared. And the backlog estimated about $10 billion US. This comes from requests from manufacturers and importers purchasing raw materials, people who want to pay their children's school fees, people who want to do their medical bills abroad, travelers, sourcing for business travel allowances, that's the BTAs, and also the personal travel allowances, the PTAs. So this, they said they've been working hand in hand to see how they can help people. I remember when we were about to travel, we could not even get the PTA from the banks because there was no Forex. But this is like a welcome development. Let's see how, especially for businesses that are sourcing directly from the black market right now. They are not, prices of things have really increased because they can't get from the official rate. All right,
let me take a story. Billionaire businessman Femi Otedola yet to gladden the hearts of Lagosians. This is because the idea of governance is to build world-class infrastructure. He said that the governor is showing uncommon leadership, focus, determination, willpower to deliver even in the face of very limited resources available to him. He has remained undeterred and unwavering. This particular role, even though it took a long time, he has shown tremendous courage that he's capable of doing the heavy lifting. So many Nigerians are always very proud of the takeoff of the light blue rail. All right. All right, moving on.
Okay, so I have this, our president was in India and New Delhi, and he had a meeting with the CEO of Hinduja Group of companies, and at the meeting he spoke. He says that all barriers to investment will be dismantled by his administration to rekindle confidence in Nigeria's economy. The Hinduja Group of companies is a conglomerate with a total asset portfolio exceeding $100 billion. And then the meeting, the CEO proposed an automobile manufacturing deal with Nigeria, and our president was at that meeting also with our ministers of finance, Wale Edun, trade and industry, Dr. Doris Uzoka Aniti, and then the foreign affairs ambassador. And while he spoke, he was like, quickly, based on this, go ahead with what is needed for them to make it easy for them to come into Nigeria. And the billionaire said that he's tried to do business here in Nigeria before, where bureaucracy stalled it for over a year, but that he believes in our president. He knows of him. He knows of the work he's done in Lagos State and how he understood challenges and he fixed it. So he's quite confident, that we'll work together. So this is a positive thing. What our president is trying to attract investors back into Nigeria. And if there's a manufacturing plant like that, it will mean more jobs for Nigerians as well. So.
Okay,
so he said this particular project has been having controversies for a long time. Since Obasanjo's time, they've been expecting, even when they had to fix the FCT ministers. We're happy to hear that our ministers are working hand in hand, and that the fund had actually been paid to the FCT for them to move the obstacles out of the way, resettle people that had settled on where the path for the second Abuja runway, and now they're already disbursing money to them. And then they would clear, and in 12 months we should have the second runway. They say it to be a gateway to Abuja, and it will be extremely important that they already have all the agencies that are going to work. The National Assembly, the presidency have already said they will give them the support needed. That's giving the aviation minister the support needed to deliver this project in 12 months. So, I think
okay, moving on quickly now to the Punch. Presidential poll, heavy security as Tribunal decides Atiku and Obi's petitions against Tinubu today. Dollar debts, CBN repays banks next week. Naira may rebound. Fund regional rail projects, FG tells governors. World Bank delays 8-point task force officials kill driver. And Lagos Castina Sokoto workers shun NLC strike grounds Abuja state. Okay, which story starting with in Punch?
There's a picture story here showing the multi-million naira Oshodi Bus Terminal 1 in Lagos State, and people have been lamenting the poor condition of the infrastructure in the facility. I remember when I saw that place, it was beautiful, but with the picture in front of the papers right now, it's not looking good at all. So according to the story, it said the terminal is divided into 1, 2, and 3 for interstate transportation for destinations like southwest, southeast, and northern states. And they have different facilities inside those terminals. They have loading bays, ticketing stands, driver lounges, parking areas, restrooms, and many others. And they had spent about $70 million to put that project. How to use the toilets, fear of infection. It is so bad that drivers and people who work there passengers are actually complaining. And the advice is that the government needs to fix this. They shouldn't have even let it get to this point. It was something that was done just a few years ago. They should fix this. If they need to get a company, a management company. No, it's wickedness. This is structure that you spent money to do.
Yeah, but
why don't you manage it?
Use optimally because it's too large for.
Yes,
it's too large for who? For government?
No, I'm saying that the buses are not really using it. Nobody is really going through those. They are still at the ground. Nobody's really using those terminals. So it's probably dilapidating due to abandonment, lack of use. It's not like
so which drivers and passengers did they interview? Because Punch went there to carry on the interview.
Okay, let me take the story from the Minister of Transportation, Saidu Alkali, said that the government should partner with each other to develop their transportation infrastructure, as it would go a long way in addressing concerns in the sector. He was saying this at the 2023 Inauguration and Orientation Summit at the Nigeria Transportation Commission's Forum. He was specifically saying that teamwork, pair mechanism is a great idea, and that is why the forum excites him to be saying this, said that they need to remove individualism and leverage their corporate strength together. So all the various states within the different regions should put resources together to build a real interstate rail project that would help and ease transportation. So states that cannot pay their salaries.
The strike that was supposed to be yesterday and today, but the news is getting to us from Punch is that Lagos, Castina, Sokoto didn't comply. They said the banks were thought to join, but the banks didn't join as well. However, they grounded all activities within Abuja. The FCT was 100% compliant. They also said that Delta, Bayelsa, Ogun did not comply with the NLC's directive to shut down activities in commencement of the strike. Some parts of Lagos observed, majorly the Nigerian Port Authority, but aviation went ahead with their activities. The strike is supposed to be a preparation for the shutdown, which they say would start in 21 days. And the decision was taken based on the National Executive Council meeting that held last Friday. We're hoping that the NLC leadership would sit down with...
When we come back, we continue with our show. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be...
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
It's not just where, but who wouldn't you want to work with?
Yes, that's on that angle.
So Laifa had a very, very interesting...
You wouldn't want to work with who?
There's no judgment.
No, and I
Oh, they'll
respect,
judge you
I
definitely,
respect
but we won't
this
judge
certain
you.
type of people. But what I dislike so much is when they tend to come to work and then they pour all their
Resentment from
on
whom?
you. Is it me that offended you? I'm not the one. I have no business. My house just come and work with you, pay me at the end of the month, and let me go back to my house in peace and sleep. But when it comes to like divorced people, I cannot work with a divorcee. I can't see myself doing that. If I find out, if you can hide it or not, but if I find out,
when they are nice divorcees,
I would just
What if they are nice?
Okay, now it depends. If you are nice, cool. But if you are the type that you don't know how to keep your anger to yourself, you always pour it on somebody. Well, I'll not drop my resignation letter, no matter the amount you are paying me.
so it's more passive-aggressive people.
Yeah, I can't do it. I'm so sorry.
Oh, definitely.
And I cannot work with stingy people.
See this one.
Because you cannot be passing me in the morning, afternoon. I can say, oh, hi, yeah, I'm working. Oh, yeah, take 100 naira, take 10K, take 15K. You don't have to be my sugar daddy or sugar mommy. See, the way you treat others is the way they will treat you outside. Yeah. And if you cannot treat your workers well, they are not a good boss. If you cannot be dashing me small thing or giving me donuts when I'm working, you are not a good person.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Come closer. A little bit more. Perfect. I have exciting news for you. You asked for it and you got it. Your favorite breakfast show, Your View, will be going to 2 hours. We're going to have in-depth analysis of the newspaper review and more conversations on the hot topics. The ladies of Your View and I will be stirring up our guests to get in-depth into all the various topics, and you, our viewers, will have the opportunity to call in and share your views. After all, it's your view. Join us on Your View, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for a fantastic conversation. Don't miss. Moving on now to Vanguard. Strike halts activities in rivers, Osun, Edo, Kano, Kaduna, and Cross River. Despite slight improvement, reign of terror continues. PEPT, Justice Odili's pre-judgment remarks is worrisome, says LP. Few subsidy interests fighting us, says Shetima. One killed as task force truck drivers tout clash at mile 2. Our founding fathers won independence, failed to build a nation, says Jonathan. NNPP crisis deepens as faction expels Kwakonso. APC's past rejection of fuel subsidy removal was political. Presidential poll, the 4 men, woman who will decide the fate of Tinubu article today. Okay, which story are we starting with in Vanguard?
So I'll take NEC, that's the National Executive Committee of New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP. As we know, I think we've all heard that they had expelled its presidential candidate, Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso. They said this was because he had refused to appear before the party's disciplinary committee on allegations of mismanagement of funds and also anti-party activities. They had, first of all, he had been suspended by the party's leadership. I think this was August 29th. And then the disciplinary committee was set up. When they invited Kwankwaso to defend the allegations against him, he didn't appear, and they had set a warning that if he didn't appear, it would mean expulsion from the party, and that's what they went ahead to do. But we also have other factions of the party saying that those who expelled Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso had no constitutional authority to do so, and it's talking about factionalized divisions within the party. And also they're saying that this the crisis within the NMPC started when the National Working Committee of the party that are loyal to Kwankwaso announced the suspension of the founder of the party, Dr. Boniface Aniebonam, and the National Public Secretary. So obviously, since there are two factions and they are warring between them, so we'll see how they resolve that.
So protesting truck drivers yesterday barricaded Yoshodi Apapa Expressway, Lagos, over the alleged killing of one of their colleagues by a policeman attached to the Lagos State Task Force. So according to the story, they said that the task force arrived at the mile 2 end of the expressway at the early hours of yesterday to impound trucks that usually would block, the center of the road. And so they found this Toyib Girisi, who was parked in front, blocking others, and they tried to get him out, tow his vehicle out, which he refused. They got into a struggle, and one of the policemen shot him from behind. According to eyewitnesses, they said this is a very young man. He's 25 years, was 25 years of age, and he just rented an apartment recently. He was just loading, to go somewhere else, and they said his mother just left that vicinity not long ago before this accident happened. So the defunct Council of Maritime Transport Unions and Association, COMTWA, condemned the killing of the truck driver, saying that the government has to do something about this. They want proper investigation. They want the people who have done this to be punished. They want to give a conducive environment to everyone who is working. Your rights must be protected, and we cannot keep having this sort of shootings.
All right, so our former president, Goodluck Jonathan, was speaking at the book launch and 60th birthday anniversary of Professor Udenta, and part of one of his speech was saying that our founding fathers, they deserve the credit for the struggle for independence, but they failed woefully in they did a poor job at nation building. According to him, he said that he said, I'm not blaming our founding fathers, but they failed to integrate us into a proper nation. They operated as individuals. Have we been able to convince ourselves whether we're a state or a nation? If we're a country and a state, how do we become a nation? He said, according to him, he felt that most of our founding fathers were very individualistic. They focused on ethnic politics rather than building us together as a nation. That he's not blaming them, but the truth is that there's a lot of room for us to become a proper nation. There's no sense of commitment to integrate Nigeria into an entity that you can say, yes, it is a nation with core values, common philosophy, and the people with the patriotic sense of thinking. So, interesting perspective. I'd really like to even read the book.
On the 1st of September 2023, a very young cadet, Sulaiman Jeka, lost his life at the Nigerian Police Academy in Kano State. His death has led the Acting Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetoku, to set up a 7-man committee to investigate over the next 4 days what led to his death. Of course, the acting IG commiserated with the family, but felt that it was a very promising young man who suddenly lost his life, and they felt, aside from commiserating with the family, they needed to get into what would have led to the cause of death, and they are assuring the family that they would get to the bottom of it. They have put together a panel that is being head by the Force Criminal Investigation Department's head in Abuja, Abiodun Alabi. He has a mandate to conduct an impartial investigation into all the circumstances surrounding the cadet's death, and we're hoping that this justice would bring comfort to the family of the young man.
That was really a sad story. If you're seeing the picture, such a young boy, and there are allegations of starvation, they are not being fed properly, so it's important that the family gets
impartial.
Some sort of, I don't even know if they can ever get closure from that tragic loss.
Moving on now to the Nigerian Tribune. Tight security as court delivers presidential election verdict today. IGP orders probe of cadet officers' death at police academy. Ekiti residents cry for help as gunmen abduct 4 farmers 5 days after killing one. One killed as truck drivers task force clash in Lagos. We played mere politics with protests against fuel subsidy removal in 2012, says Fayemi. FG cancels Intel's pilotage monopoly, engages 4 new firms, and NLC strike banks, court sports officers shut down. You guys not notice this is our new minister paid, I think, about 3 or 4 papers for the front page. This is the minister that was saying that Minister of Interior was speaking very confidently against how we Nigerians are made to stay months before getting their passports, and he was well praised and celebrated, and he's celebrating again 100 days of the president on front page. So that costs a lot of money.
Costs a lot of money.
A lot of money. So we're watching you, Mr. Tunji Ojo.
Yeah, we will not judge you based on this one. We're judging in our mind, but we'll not say
we're just
keeping it down.
We're just holding it. Yeah. We've seen it and we have kept it. Okay.
In our book.
All right.
Yeah, so ahead of today's judgment in the 3 petitions challenging the declaration of Senator Bola Matiluko as the winner of the February 25th presidential election, they said some television stations have set up sharp to broadcast, live. The organizations, both Nigerian and foreign, have submitted their names to the Court of Appeal for fresh accreditation and permission to access the courtroom and its premises today. So everybody's looking forward to it, and they're asking that Nigerians just calm down, take it easy. Let's see how, since it will be broadcast, we'll see everything transparently and live. Yeah.
Any other story in Tribune? Are we done?
I think this is in Ekiti. Yes, they said less than 5 days after the killing and kidnapping of some residents in Itakpa G Ekiti, Ikole local government area of Ekiti State, they said government have struck again in the community. They said that the victims were kidnapped on Monday evening. They were returning from farms a few days after one person was killed and 2 others were abducted by the gunmen who attacked. The Speaker for the State House of Assembly lamented the increasing attacks on the people in the local government area. It's calling on the state government to equip Amotekun Corps towards confronting these gunmen. Eyewitnesses said that the 4 victims had worked on a farm. So there's a commercial farm that belongs to a popular cleric in the community, and people would go there to farm. They were accosted on their way back. So I do, it's security situation. We talk about the north, you hear it in the southwest, it's just widespread really. And where we have local vigilante groups that can help, we should equip them in a way that they're able to protect their communities.
So there's been a lot of controversy concerning NPA and Intel, the contract that they had, and now the federal government has cancelled Intel's pilotage monopoly. This was due to the fact that there was a record of $500 million loss in the past 3 years due to the inability to appoint substantive monitoring agents in the past. So the monopoly used to be managed by Intel's Nigeria Limited. There were controversies around how that contract was suspended because they said the NPA, if we recall, the NPA cancelled it, and the NPA boss that led to that cancellation was suspended by the minister at the point in time. But finally, in proper processing, the Bureau of Public Procurement has approved for new companies to carry this thing out in different ways. So the Lagos area is handled by the ICA Logistics Limited, while Warri area is handled by Pacific Silverlink. They broke it into different districts to cover the Lagos, Warri, Bonny, Port Harcourt, Ishasha, Calabar local government, Calabar piloted district as well, and all of this, they have a BPP certificate of no objection dated August 30. So there was due process followed, nobody complained about it, and now there will no longer be monopoly. We're hoping this will bring in revenue.
Yes, fantastic. I'm happy that it's not one person. When we have too much monopoly, that's when there's lots of issues of corruption. But now we have more companies handling this monitoring. This is a good idea. Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, the only news Nigerians are talking about today is the tribunal. What are your thoughts on it? What do you think? What are your expectations? Join us in a moment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome the one who can make time stand still forever, Mr. Kelechi Amadi. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, my brother.
You love that intro, Abi?
Yeah. It was great.
Okay,
thank you.
We try like that.
Thank you.
Now my question, which I feel is a cheap question.
Go ahead.
What does ISO stand for?
That is it. I think I'll drink.
No, you're joking.
I'm not joking.
Kelechi Amadi. No. Shay, you didn't whine me. You're whining me now.
I think I'll drink. No problem.
Okay.
I've always known this as ISO. I never bothered to know what it means. I know what it means, but I never really bothered to know what the acronym means. Tell me the brand of camera that I use, so much so that I even became an ambassador. That's very easy. Like, it's out there.
It's supposed to be, yeah.
I just said, let me give you this one as a token of my appreciation.
Sony.
Drink!
I'm not done. You did not say final answer.
It's final answer.
You did not ask me if that was my final answer.
You don't have any choice again. It's only
Nikon.
How many cameras do they have? My
Nikon.
friend to drink. I gave you a very easy something.
Nikon now. Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome pioneer Positive Force member, dancing queen of the 80s, non-conformist, Afrobeat historian in her right, and long-standing member of the multiple award-winning all-female show Your View, Omoyeni Yeni Anikulapo Kuti, aka YK Power! Ginger!
Take it.
Today we'll go here.
Hey, I don't read you.
Are you sure?
Ha. I'm not here to answer questions, I'm here to drink.
We're in trouble today.
Wait till your age.
I was close now.
I
said 1975.
He said 73. He said 75.
I confirm.
Fellas wasn't even born till 75.
So will I drink half?
You go drink. Take. Make I help you. Russian.
No be half.
Which half? You will make me drink. I'll give you a hint.
Lights in no. Nepa Road. Nepa Road in Abeokuta.
First of all, my brain cannot memorize everything.
A big black bug.
A big black dog.
Bug. A big black bug.
Oh, sorry. A big.
It don't start.
Ọmọ fẹlá. Ọmọ Anikulapo Kuti. Wọ́n rò pé kíní kékeré yìí.
It's my audition. It's not my audition.
And ask questions if I want to ask questions. And if it's something that I saw coming, I may not even ask questions. I may just I may even tell you I saw this.
What if it's in person? But then would it make a difference where? So like this person might just say you people can just be on Third Mainland Bridge on a bike. And the person say, babe, I cannot do it again, and you lose range. So what would change the scenario for, like, does it matter where? Do you want to have like a fancy dinner like the film you were mentioning?
No, like finding your be right.
Or do you want to be on the street?
No, carry me go fancy dinner.
Or you might just they run for treadmill.
Or you not a joke.
I'll tell you, you'll lose for your web.
Now I don't turn attempted murder.
So which would it be? Because I'm like, in person you have the closure that you want and the few injuries.
Guys, that's one place. It could be inside the car. You can sit inside the car.
Why car? Why not bike?
Who will be driving?
Why bike?
Who will be driving at this
point? The car will be
point?
stationary.
Pray I'm not the one driving.
Just pray. Stationary.
Because I go master. You can't be telling me like me. I'm going to drive there water. You must consider.
Ikechukwu Sunday Okonkwo, aka Cross. Now your intro without
Wow.
So there's a name that thing that's.
I'm just drinking because you say I should drink. There's no particular answer.
You think it's only that can be wicked?
What's the answer?
Subterfuge.
Eh?
Yeah. They claim you did, but you said it just happened. That
And it's called what again?
Subterfuge.
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 So you look me finish from head to toe. You look at a person who go know what to be called subterfuge. Yeah?
The nude wasn't.
Thanks for staying with us. As we all know, the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal in Abuja today will be delivering its much anticipated high-stake judgment on the petitions challenging the election of the current president, Asiwaju Bola Matiluko. This is going on right now, and there are three key pending petitions filed in court in the aftermath of the elections by Peter Obi, Atiku Abubakar, and many other petitions. I think there are about 18 of them. We'll be showing you a bit of some views from the courtroom to see what's going on, and then we'll come back to have a conversation and hear from Nigerians their views, their expectations on the proceedings at the tribunal. Watch this.
Makinde Esquire, Julius Ishola Esquire, and last but not the least, Taiwo Lakanu Esquire. Go for me, Lord. Yes. Good morning, my lords. I am Chief Dr. Charles Uwensi Edosawa. I make a humble appearance for the fourth respondent. With me, sirs, Chief Adeni Akintola, SAN, Chief Afolabi Fashanu, SAN, Sam Ologun Risha, SAN, Solomon Moore, SAN, Abdul Muhammad Rafindadi, SAN. My lords, our learned friends of the Altar Bar are also here with us. And they are Omosaya Bola Esquire, Olayewaju Onigegewura Akinshola Esquire, Bolaji Oyun Esquire, is Puwaila Muhammad Ibrahim. Thank you very much, madam. We're all here for the fourth respondent.
Thanks for staying with us. We'll be going back and forth to the courtroom to just have an idea of the proceedings. But just to, as a reminder, some of the petitions that have been filed that we're going to be hearing from, according to the report we have here, both the presidential candidate of the APC, of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, and the LP will be, both of them are asking that the disqualification of Mr. Tinubu to contest the elections in the first place, the legality of the nomination of his nominate, the integrity of the election process, and the threshold of the spread of votes used by INEC to declare him winner. So those are the three key petitions that we're going to be hearing about here. What are your own general thoughts on it, the mood of the nation? Every radio station, every television station today is focused, as you said in the papers, about 50 media houses already there. Positioned, waiting, everybody's watching live. What are your general thoughts on your expectations?
Okay, One of the reasons I don't like court cases, anything court, is the fact that they will drag and drag and drag. And when you've lost hope, you've forgotten, we've moved on. Nigerians have the harsh realities, had taken our minds away from, the election. And now it's like a fresh reminder all over again, what's happening. And I just want to use this opportunity to tell Nigerians that everybody cannot be happy at the end of today. Somebody will be happy and another person will be sad. And whatever faction that you find yourself, just take it and move on. Because we're getting to a point now, we're seeing policies, we're seeing things are being done to move the country forward. And if we now say, okay, we die here, we scatter here because it didn't go in our favor, we'll be taking ourselves back. So let's just wait and hope that it happens. Either way it happens. One person must be sad today, or two people actually, because there are three people in question here. Two people will go home without nothing today, and one person will be declared winner at the end of the day. However sides you find yourself, just understand that this has happened and we move on to the next thing. Right. And Nigerians are waiting, they are hoping. I'm seeing some people fighting on social media already, against each other, and I'm like, are we going back here again? I thought we had moved on, please.
Right. Yeah. And for me I just want to remind Nigerians that Nigeria first. This is about us, this is about our democracy. It does not matter what political parties you belong or affiliations you have. However it ends today, remember this is about our country, this is about Nigeria. So the anger, the dissatisfaction that may come, and even for those who knowing that these people are, the other factions are also part of Nigeria. I don't want us to forget that. We came through a very rancorous election period. We were talking and scattering each other. We were telling each other some very strong, mean things we shouldn't have said. And we've sort of moved away from that. Let this just be like the final culmination of that sort of feeling. Let's remember we are here for Nigeria, and Nigeria must win no matter what.
Right. What are your thoughts here?
For me, I just, every time that our democracy is being tested, this is a test of our democracy. It is good for us as a nation. Especially, we must remind ourselves as a country of what we represent to Africa. There is a wind of coup, there is a wind of crisis across a few countries in Africa. And even though we're not pleased with the democracy or feel like we're getting all the dividends of democracy, we should check out what it would have looked like if we are in crisis. So whichever way it goes, let us appreciate where we are. This tribunal is going to strengthen our democracy. It's the 7th tribunal we are having on a presidential level. And I think there's never been any tribunal where the president was taken out of power. But we've had tribunals were taken out. So this is not a blanket rubber stamp anything. Anything can still happen today. And I don't want anybody to feel like we are making it sound like it is a done deal. But let us understand that the job now lies in the courts. It is not what we say on TV or what they type on, or what you people type on social media. Everything that is happening now is out of anybody's hands. It is in the hands of, I was reading in the paper that the PDP commenced praying from 1 p.m. yesterday in Abuja, and that they prayed till the press time this morning. So yes, there's nothing. We pray that no matter what happens, Nigeria remains at peace.
That should be the prayer.
So, and everybody is praying. So I think Nigerians should join in that prayer right now. Number one, understand that Nigeria represents a strength in democracy for the entire Africa. Our ability to strengthen our democracy. Every time we reform, every time we fight it and we come out stronger, we are giving hope to all other African countries that it can work.
Even to add to that, because you just got back from a trip, and I think when we go outside the country and we come back, we will somewhat appreciate our home. I'm not speaking for you, but I'm just saying, most people went to travel like this. You come back, you realize, you know what, this is home. Sometimes you don't live at all. You just continue to hate your environment. But the moment you go out for some time, you then realize that, you know what, it's not
perfect,
fantastic, but home is home. I was going to come to the point, the fact that Abubakar, Atiku, and Obi are praying for the court to order a fresh election. And they pray that Tinubu and his party, APC, should be barred from participating in it. So in the situation where fresh elections are maybe this one is totally bad. I mean, are you willing to go back to the polls to vote? I mean, we have no choice because if the court say the current president is barred from the new or maybe barred the cancel the previous elections, and then he's barred. Are people willing to go back again to the polls?
Do we have the resources to do that? So it's not about whether people are willing or not. Can we take another? We know how much we spend to have one election. Can we take another? Can the economy, with what we're going through now, in fact, as we could, Abby. As a matter of fact, as I was, asking questions, I wanted to get a few things. Somebody called me and said, "Auntie, it's harder now than when you left to. Don't buy nonsense there. Gather your money and come back. Hunger is in the land." Can our economy stand it? Are we going to be looking to borrow money to fund? So I don't know how they want to do it. However, is there any way they can move away from having to do like a re-election? That's what I'm trying to say. A rerun, Yeah. Is there any way we can avoid that? Because the economy cannot stand that right now, except, of course, we don't mind borrowing. The ones who are borrowed, we're not able to pay. And I don't even know who is willing to borrow us money again to do like another election.
We're going to break now. When we come back, we'll discuss the security. The police are everywhere. The numbers of lawyers in the courtroom. The various parts of this conversation that is yet to be discussed. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table. So, have you ever wondered
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing our views on the fact that today is the D-Day, highly anticipated judgment of the elections that had just passed in February 25th of this year. Mariam, you're going to say something for everyone.
Yes, so I was going to say, hearing Obiajulu, I'm like, Auntie, this is our democracy. We were broke before the last election. We'll do it again if we have to.
Wow.
I mean, it's about justice, it's about our unity. And we know if a faction of a group of Nigerians feel aggrieved and the courts have proven their right to that sentiment, or they've proven that there was an issue with the election, then we must, whether we like it or not, if we have to scale down the process or the way it was done initially, we will have to do that. That is such an important, it's so important that we need to do that. And I feel that Nigerians, that's what all we're thinking about. We will survive. We will, from there we will launch and then we'll do it better. With all Nigerians, one presence of the same mind, knowing that the courts did their part and now Nigerians will do their part in solidifying democracy.
Nima sent us a message that it's not what we are saying here, it is how well the lawyers have done their job. Because we also need to know, before we started our conversation, the lawyers were introducing themselves at the tribunal, and the responsibility of the lawyers is to speak on behalf of all the candidates, and these people have done the best they can do, and the judgment, this is a judgment, like you see the result of how well they were able to defend. So one of the things I find very challenging with law and expectations when it comes to court is that it's not about what you think is right. It's not about what you saw in your own polling unit. It's not even about your opinion or what you feel is the fact. It's about what we're able to prove.
Beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yes, you must be able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. And the ability to prove beyond a reasonable doubt will lie within the lawyers, the evidence being presented, and
how they're able to argue
how they're able to argue the case. So whether I feel or I don't feel, if I don't have any proof to back up what I feel, then nothing is going to happen. So a lot of proof have been presented, and there's still timeline. I know that the final day is on the 6th of November. There would be...
That's if there's an appeal.
If there's an appeal.
Right.
That's the
so
final.
So regardless of the judgment today,
they can still
the lawyers can appeal, and they have till November 6th, which is still a good thing. But let's talk about the fact that we woke up this morning and everywhere security, police that we're looking for. Before. We'll be looking for police. Now they're everywhere. Okay. What is going on? It's just an announcement that we're waiting for. I mean, as Nigerians, I was scared. In fact, I called my office. I'm supposed to leave. I said, I think I'm going to stay home today because I saw a lot of people say, don't worry, you're staying home now. Be safe, you're home. Everybody's home. You can't tell me, I mean, and you said 30 minutes before approaching the courts, it's even already on lockdown.
So that is expected, right? That's also being proactive because we know how we can get. Nigerians are naturally emotional. So people can just decide to take laws into their hands if it doesn't go their way, you know, and it will be unfair that the government just sits back and assumes that everybody will be thinking right at the moment. So it's good that the police presence is there, it's felt, you know that you cannot do anyhow, you do anyhow, you see anyhow, you know. You guide yourself. If you want to get upset and damage your TV, you go into your house and do that, not on the streets, not causing mayhem and all of that. We cannot afford to lose any form of infrastructure right now. Nigeria is at a place where we are managing and gathering what we have. So this is time that the government needs to protect. However it goes, there must not be any form of disruptions and violence. So I like that.
And also we know the DSS had told us, you know, giving warnings that there were some people that were planning to take advantage of the situation and, you know, cause violence. But we're happy that the police, I just feel that you yab them. We see them now, these police officers. Say we don't see them. You know, we see them. But so it's good to see a heavier presence. You know, they have to be
clean uniform.
Yeah, it's good.
I said, I said, what's going on? What's happening, Inspector General?
They brought out the best.
But even, you know what, you know you've been away, so you don't know. But a lot of things have scaled down. Even traffic is very minimal.
Wow.
So I don't know the person that will be on the streets. I don't know what they would have eaten. We are looking for palliatives up and down. What palliative? They will tell us what palliative they got. That they got the threat to come and be protesting, violence on the streets.
Yesterday,
on
camera. He didn't look very
no. See, we need to go to that NLC office. There's something happening. They were all looking rotund.
The man was saying we are here to let the poor breathe. I'm thinking
the common man. You don't look like a common man.
Look like
some people are
breathing really fine, Mister.
Some people are blessed. Let's not judge the book by the cover because some people they are blessed that if they eat everything, let's just give the benefit of that.
But I must say that this moment actually makes me. We did not have these election tribunal petitions. I mean, we've had 79, 1983, 1999, 2003, 2007, 2011, 2019, and now 2023. It was seeded. I mean, this man is a millennial hero. He's a hero for the millennium. This is somebody that we can continue to say, you know what, regardless of what happened, this is a man that he's probably worried that the nation would hopefully not degenerate after the announcement. He's probably thinking of that moment where he also was made that
with him that he did it because he thought about the security situation in Nigeria and he put Nigeria first. You know, we have hailed him. Some people thought, what did he do? But I've always hailed him. There were lots of criticism. He sort of salvaged and because of that, we enjoyed 8 years, after that. And because of that, now we was with our President Buhari. He did not agree for any time. Every time he came and, and eventually when he ran, and we should have a bit more trust in the process.
Let's see a few comments on social media. I'm going to go on a break. Let us see a few comments because we'd like to hear Nigerians call in to share your own thoughts. Are you fearful? Are you hopeful? What do you think would happen? And what are your own general thoughts on this? We'd like to hear you. Let me go on a quick break. When we return, we'll take a few calls and read some comments on.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right.
This is 7 of 7. My name is OJ and signing a sobriety into my hands tonight on this social experiment called the 7 of 7. It's Owen G. What is the name? Or what was the name?
You see, I want to make them better now.
Rockheart.
No, of the goats. When they brought it on stage.
The name of that goat.
Yeah.
We should go there.
No, that one easy now. I'm just drinking this so that I can ask him my own questions. It's not because of Buga. He didn't get it. You know. Okay. Mention 10 female stand-up comedians in Nigeria. See, just mention their stage name. If you annoy me, you will mention their real names and the year they started. And if you annoy me further, you mention the names of their husbands and the names of their children. Try me now. Okay, mention their name.
No, let's just.
No, wait. No, don't. No. Name, real name, stage name, husband name, children name. 10 of them.
Even the 10. That's a lot.
Eh?
That's a lot.
Did I cut your question for you?
Yes.
When you were happy now. With your hunchback.
That was it.
You are wasting time. We don't have time. See, my brother, before we go on a commercial break, you are stubborn. And I told you since. The fact that you play this your hair does not mean. You understand? See this bad hair you are looking at. It's experience. I've suffered before you.
But I try now.
When you there during the military era of Abacha and Babangida, you know what happened?
I be Gen Z.
So that
Gen Z,
I will remove 4 out of 10.
That's like
4 out of 10 they pass exam. Don't drink this thing. Where baby you are on here. Drink out. If I land you.
And ask questions if I want to ask questions. And if it's something that I saw coming, I may not even ask questions. I may just I may even tell you I saw this.
What if
Okay, thanks for staying with us once again. You can call us on 081-0764-1679, 090-241-63440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YOURVIEWTVC so we can read your tweets. In a moment, we'll be going back to the courts to see what's going on as they're beginning the proceedings. Just to give you an insight into the names of the judges presiding over the tribunal this morning, there are 5 of them. We have Justice Haruna Samani, and the tribunal that those who are leading the legal team of each of the main parties. That's Atiku Abubakar is led. The legal team is led by Mr. Chris Uche, and then for the president Bola Tinubu, he's been led by Mr. Wole Onalekpekum, and for Peter Obi, he's been led by Mr. Levi Ozuku. He's the head of the legal team. These are interesting times. Olanipekwe is obviously one person who has serious experience in election tribunals. He's been used several times by many of the past petitions. He's well known. Other lawyers are also quite known. But the fact that we have these judges about to preside, what are your own general thoughts? And let's look at now. We have pictures of the courtrooms again. I think in any moment from now, we're going to begin to hear the rulings from the judges. And can you see, okay, that's Ganduje, that's the former governor of Kano State right there. There are quite a lot of dignitaries in the courtroom.
That's the current APC chair.
Our vice president is also there. I think I can see Minister
the aviation minister.
The aviation minister is also there. I saw Ribadu is also there. Quite a number of people at the court from the APC part. I'm yet to see the presidential candidates of LP. And,
I heard he's there though.
Is he there? The pictures haven't carried him yet. And also the presidential candidates of the PDP. I'm yet to see Atiku Abubakar in the courtroom. Yes, hopefully we can get some visuals on them.
Do they have to be there themselves, or can they be represented?
They can send representatives. I'm sure they can. But I've not seen any of them there. So, but the lawyers are obviously there because the courtroom is quite full of lawyers. I can see that. So I mean, it's
this
just
kind of matter, and you are not there. You should be there.
And the president, our president is in New Delhi, is in India now.
Oh yeah.
So his vice president
is representing him.
He's representing him. So I guess, but we'll see.
Yeah. So these are seasoned judges, seasoned lawyers. You know, the best of the best, presented the creme. You know, and it's going to be a battle of facts and evidence, the best. And I hope for them that wish Nigerians the best. And I like the fact that we highlighted what Jonathan did, how he was able to concede during his time because he didn't want any form of violence. He put the nation first before his personal interest. And even if first, by not allowing ourselves to be used to fight unnecessary fights. Because at the end of the day, we are the ones that will bear the brunt of every fight that happens. It's the children who are supposed to be in schools that will lose their lives. It's the people who are supposed to be minding their business that will lose their businesses, At the end of the day, the people who would set you up to fight against each other let's put our nation first. However the outcome, whoever you're supporting, whoever comes out, if it doesn't favor family.
Okay, let me take this Oh, good morning. Are you there? Thanks for calling.
Yeah, I'm first caller.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah. Well, I really want to contribute to this matter.
Can't hear you. Can you speak a bit louder, please?
I want to call this morning.
Yikes. Kehinde, are you there? Oh, we just lost that call. Any comments on social media yet? This was announced on Monday. No, although I'm sure they probably planned ahead of time, but it is such an important job. Shouldn't he have maybe delayed a bit before?
Representing him, they're both on the ballot. So as long as if he wasn't something very important, then we could even understand. But he is representing the country, and I don't think that we should pause our lives because we are waiting for what judgment would say.
I agree because in his own case, he's both president and has to be in court, and the business of Nigeria has to continue. I took in the papers that he was already talking with $100 billion and talking about how this will impact us employment-wise, and so, and however it goes, we would not forgive him if he says, I had to come and sit down, and we now put this on hold, put that on hold. Nobody wants to hear, so he has to do both. And if the court accepts that he can be represented as any of the other candidates, then I think it's okay that
let me take Mrs. Okpara. Good morning, Mrs. Okpara. Thanks for calling in.
I'm saying that my contribution is that how will 3 people be fighting for one seat? The 3 people that are fighting for one seat, I don't know. The 3 people are fighting for one seat. Obi and people they are lobbying. So I don't know why they should be fighting. The 2 people are fighting. Why are people saying the winner? Why the
Mrs. Okpara, just for a bit more enlightenment on this. So they're asking that the results be cancelled for a rerun, right? And others are even saying they should totally bar APC. So there are different parts of this. So they can win one and lose one. All their various petitions. So we'll see how it goes. But not all of them, not all 3 are saying to be declared winners. There are different petitions. But we'll wait and see which is which. Any more comments on social media? We'd like to hear Nigerians' views on this. It's important to hear your views. Again, please don't call to insult. We're just trying to get your general views on this. Thank you so much for the callers we had so far.
We are not getting in a lot of messages on social media, and I understand why. A lot of people are watching. And if you're like me, when you see a lot of us will be waiting to see, if they can, when they start to break it down for us. I personally, when I see them, I'm just quite dumb.
But there's an important part of this petition, which I think we've not even discussed about. I mean, nominated for 2 separate constituencies in the same election cycle as Borno Central, senatorial candidate, and vice presidential candidate for the whole of Nigeria. Now, that is really, really tricky because they're on a joint ticket, and if they find him invalid, it might affect the president himself. So this, as I said, is a 3-4 leg need for a rerun. But we'll see, as I said, we'll wait for what the tribunal says, and let's go on a quick break now. When we come back, we'll take a few more phone calls before we wrap up. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Okay, they've started.
Ladies, make welcome the grand comedian of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Gbenga Adeyinka the First. OJ right here, 7 of 7, like you already know.
Gbenga right here, 7 of 7, like I'm beginning to know. It's now time for the question.
You don't scare me one bit. Bata, I go drink. So.
Okay. So now one chance for enter. My first question. Do you remember the names of the winners of that edition of StarQuest?
Of course I do.
Why do you?
And I hate myself for this. Because I have this question for you. Final question. No. Where outside Nigeria and what year? Think you're the only one that can be wicked.
I am thinking because I know back in the day.
Don't think. Answer my question quick. You are thinking too much. I don't like it.
The UK.
Final answer. Okay. I said, God, please, let me to perform outside Nigeria.
Wait.
And God gave me a show in Ghana. Drink, my friend, drink. I don't
overthink.
Thanks for staying with us. We're told the judgment has started. Let us go straight to the tribunal right now.
Reply to the third respondent's reply to the motion filed on 20th April 2023 to the applicant's reply to the petition, and for such further orders as this honorable court may think fit to make in the circumstances. The grounds have also been referred to in this ruling. We have also considered the submissions of counsel. Now, it is apparent that the first respondent's motion filed on the 6th of May 2023, the second respondent motion filed on the 8th of April 2023, and the third and fourth respondent motion filed on 13th May 2023 are all aimed at having certain paragraphs of the petition replies to the respective replies of the respondent's replies to the petition struck out. The common ground in all the applications is that the averments in the petitioner's reply have introduced new facts, new issues, facts, and or grounds to the petition. Furthermore, that some of the averments are rehashed or repetition of the averments in the petition file. That those averments in the petition reply offend paragraph 16, subparagraph 1A and B of the first schedule to the Electoral Act 2022. The said paragraph to the Electoral Act stipulates that, I quote, if a person in his reply to the election petition raises new issues or facts in defense of his case, which the petition has not dealt with, the petitioner shall be entitled to file in the registry within 5 days from the receipt of the respondent's reply, a petitioner reply in answer to the new issues or fact, so that A, the petitioner shall not at this stage be entitled to bring in new facts, grounds or prayers tending to amend or add to the contents of the petition filed by him, and B, the petitioner reply does not run counter to the provisions of paragraph 14.1. In my view, the provisions of paragraph 16.1 of the first schedule to the Electoral Act 2022 are clear, unequivocal, and unambiguous. It does not, therefore, require any technical rule of interpretation to understand or to be understood. From a holistic reading of that provision, it will be seen that it is meant to explain the purpose of a petitioner's reply to the respondent's reply, pleaded, and which have the effect of destroying the respondent's defense or make it not maintainable. The bottom line is that a petitioner is permitted by the first schedule to the Electoral Act 2022 to file a reply while the respondent to the petition has in his reply raised new issues of fact. The petitioner reply shall not introduce new facts, grounds, or prayers tending to amend or add to the contents of the petition. I've cited the case of APC and PDP that petitions apply. It is therefore clear that paragraph 16.1 of the first schedule to the Electoral Act does not permit a petitioner in his reply to introduce or bring in any new issue or fact which ought to have been raised in the petition itself. In other words, a petitioner cannot, in the guise of a reply to a respondent's reply, introduce a new issue or fact which was never raised in his petition nor raised by the respondent. To do that will amount to amending or adding to the petition and also taking the respondent by surprise, because at that stage the respondent will not be in a position to react to such new issues or facts. It will therefore breach the respondent's fundamental right to fair hearing. Therefore, the petitioner is not permitted to appear.
So they've started reading the judgment and will definitely be in and out of the courtroom. But it's just, I mean, I'm trying to put myself in Vice President Kassim Shettima's mind right now. Like in the next few minutes, you could either be sacked or not. You know, like you're in a position already. And based on the happenings right now, you could just go home being Mr. Shettima. You know, there's a possibility, just in case it doesn't go the other way. So what are the emotions? What are you thinking at this moment? If you were the Vice President?
I don't know if I'll be thinking at Shettima I could be sacked. I'll be thinking if I'll be going for an appeal. That's how I would rationalize it. Like, okay, so that means we have to go on an appeal because
fight again.
Yes, obviously, because we have to fight it, you know. So I think that's where they would be thinking. But also, I'm looking at the courtroom. There are many other people there as well. The ministers, you know, all the supporters of APC, they're there, and and then the anticipation of LP, especially PDP they've been there several times. For LP, this is new for them. You know, even with the election, it was quite new. Emotions were high. For them, this will be such almost like a welcome party. However it goes, you know, it solidifies them and their fight for democracy and in the political sphere. So I know that there's anticipation on all sides right now. But for the ruling party right now, I don't think they're thinking we'll be sacked, but they're thinking if we have to, that means we have to appeal this. What are the steps that we need to take to do that?
Okay.
In my head, you know, I'm a very, very... The way to lose, everybody in that courtroom will be telling, sitting there and say, let me just come and mark register, but we know we have won. So there's that... You must carry that positive, and that's me, and I've heard them talk about it. They say, when we are declared the winners, I'm like, politicians. So there's an assumption that I feel that in their mind, I'm assuming that everybody there is thinking, at the end of this reading, I will be declared a winner, and that's going to give them the ability to...
As a political scientist, I now tell you, the confidence is for the people, because you cannot show that you are downcast. You will discourage your followers and your supporters. You must put up that front, even when in your mind you are worried, you are asking yourself questions. Did we dot the T's, did he cross, you know, and all of that. So the confidence is just for the people. We have to, there's a way, you know, how back in the days they train kings and queens. There's a confidence you have to, even when things are going, when you go to your bedroom, you see, you brought out all the maps, you are checking where the war is coming, are they hitting us from this side and all of that. But you must come out and present, and that's what we see. But I know that aside from the fact that they may be thinking, so it will go different ways. And I like your own perspective, saying that for me too, I'm someone who will look at, so what's next? What's the worst case scenario? And what's next? What do I do next? I'm always thinking of what do I do next. So as a leader, that should be like where you're looking to, however it goes, because you can never say, when they finish all these their intricacies and all these their loopholes, and one English may just be the thing that will crumble the whole thing. You know, they just find, or lack of the English.
Make a note to some no person. I was going to say that, what are your thoughts on the live broadcast? I mean, yes, a lot of people debate, we're not happy that the entire proceedings, the earlier proceedings were not live. So that, and secondly, I see some empty spaces in the courts. I think it's not empty. I mean, it's like 70%. Yeah, it's about 70%. I mean, which is great, but I mean, I would have thought that
security clearances. I'm sure they had to run security checks on everybody that is there, and they want to be sure that everybody has a reason to be there. So if you don't have a concrete reason to be there, you won't get all of that. People,
the party, even though if it will affect me, I would rather not be there. People, do you know how lengthy these things can go?
Yeah.
And the lawyers, you know how we talk. It's not about sensationalism. I don't think, apart from in movies, I don't think sitting in a courtroom is
No, it's not
very
interesting
exciting thing
at all.
You know, I mean, this is just showing the integrity of our courts and how we must even believe in the system. That's our last line.
Yeah.
You know, as a people. So I think I enjoy the fact that there's this regard for this. But I'm hoping, you know, whatever way we must be able to trust. We're going to be wrapping up very soon because I know that many Nigerians probably don't want to go straight into the courts to watch what's going on. But what are your own general thoughts on this as I wrap up on this, on the matter of the tribunal being read today? Let me start with UBC. What are your final thoughts to Nigerians as we wrap up?
Let's hope that all of the policies that we have on ground would, you know, take us and sort us out. Let's tighten our belts the way we've been tightening it, with grace and the hope in it. We cannot pay with our blood, please.
All right.
Ditto.
All right, Tope.
What I'll just appeal to everybody is, don't jump into a conclusion. Don't take half of the truth. Don't repost hearsays. Don't post something online that you cannot verify because somebody said it beside you. If you don't have the patience to read the judgment or watch the entire judgment, just keep mute.
I think for me, we must confidently understand that it's part of strengthening our democracy, and we shouldn't look at it as another trouble starting over all over again. We're going to get it right as a country and as a democracy. So either way, if it goes for the ruling party, oh well and good. If it goes against them, oh well and good, because we've all experienced, I was just mentioning a few days ago, we all experienced the military rule, authority military did even to my own family and other people I knew about around. So democracy is the way to go. However, everything to strengthen democracy is what we should be looking for. So whatever decision we hear today, let's accept it and hopefully take it in good faith. Now, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we have a guest. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, La General, the one and only Pere Egbe. Which of the following is false about teeth? We are born with 20 primary teeth. Teeth are the hardest substance in the body. Teeth are the strongest bones in the body.
Teeth is not a bone, actually.
Teeth can self-repair.
The strongest bone in the body, no. Teeth is not a bone.
Final answer?
Teeth is not a bone. You know what came to my head now? That sound. Crickets.
So, editor, you can put that cricket sound there. You can still put it down too.
When was the first Gulda ultimate search? Editor?
Don't put any cricket sound. I'm talking. Okay, Pere. How many times has Ghana qualified for the World Cup?
5 times. Hey, you can't do that now.
That's what it is.
Wait. Calm down. Why are you like this?
This is your team.
Small play now.
They will not
Somebody cannot play with you again.
They will not be impressed too. The team that you're supporting. And
Ghana will be alright.
Yeah, that's last.
Charlie? Cheers, Charlie.
Ladies, multiple award-winning actor, producer, ambassador of Edo People. We have Etinosa Idemudia in the building.
Not be first to go police station, they win the case.
Okay.
So you are showing yourself.
I go see as my second question.
You are feeling like a contact the prancing peacock. I'm about to cut your wings. Hello. Now, in the amalgamation of 1914, who was
Thanks for staying with us. As many of you know, on Wednesdays we like to celebrate women who are doing great things, and today we have an attorney With over 30 years of experience in diverse areas of judicial science, her legal experience spans the areas of admiralty law. She's a certified executive coach, serving as the lead coach, founder of BMO Advisory Services, and founder of the Women's Lifestyle Hub. She's also a non-executive director of Wema Bank. Welcome with us, Mrs. Bola Matiluko in the building. Might I add, please, that she was my first pastor's wife when I was in the US. Jesus House in Jersey. I mean, when I was down and when I backsliding, when you go to America, first of all, backslide the first 2 years. You now find back, and the church was the first church I attended, Pastor Matel, and I mean, I cannot believe it. I was shocked when I saw the mirror yesterday. What? Is this the same person? Yes. Good to have you. Good to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thank you so much for having me.
So, you're a lawyer and you're doing so much. Tell us a bit about your journey, your career.
Okay, so I have a way that I like to describe myself. I always say that I'm a pastor by calling. I'm a lawyer by training. I'm a banker by default because I'm not a core banker, but I sit on the board of a bank. And I also say that I'm a podcaster by design. I do have a podcast. It's called the Excellent Life Podcast. And then I'm an executive coach, and most people call me Coach BMO.
So similar
Coach
to our TMO.
TMO. So we have TMO, we have BMO. Yes. Okay.
Yes, I saw also here, it says you're the founder of Women's Lifestyle Hub.
Yes.
For me, when I hear lifestyle, that's just me. I'm wondering what is that about? And
so Women's Lifestyle Hub is a community, a vibrant, I always like to say that, it's a vibrant community of women, executive women, committed to living a life of excellence. And when I say excellence, I always say personal and professional excellence and all-round success. You know, I've been an executive, a female executive now for some 20-odd years, and I recognize firsthand the peculiar challenges we face as women executives. And so for me, I wanted a community where we could have like minds, form strategic relationships, and just kind of grow together as a community. We have mentors, we have coaches in the community, and then we have the executive women.
Yes. It's not working out, like in practical terms, because you know we all have where we drop these ideas, and then when you want to execute it somehow, and you know, especially with the way they say women don't really work well together.
That's so not true. You know, it's so interesting. When I launched Women's Lifestyle Hub back in December, I did a montage. There was an opening montage, and it was called Bursting the Myth. And it was all about bursting this myth that women do not support one another. And I traced my own life from my mom, my late mom, how she supported me. And I outlined all the women that have supported me in my own journey. And so I think that a lot of people put that out there just to discourage us. But I have a lot of women in my life that are so supportive, and there are a lot of people too that I support, you know, as a mentor. So yes.
Amazing. So you've listed your CV is quite loaded. You do so many things, and you do them amazingly well. But I would ask you, how did you find the things to do? How did you decide that, okay, I'm going to get into the bank, or I'm going to get into real estate, or I'm going to become a lawyer? What was it for you? Because there are a lot of people out there who are not very clear in what they would like to do, and they are asking themselves, I have so and so talent, but I don't know which one is the will of God.
Yes. You know, I always talk about recognizing the seasons of your life, because you know, I always say that now I'm doing a lot of things, but I didn't do all these things at the same time. So it's about recognizing the season of your life. I always say to people that I mentor, I say to them, I'm like, don't try and do too much at the same time, because now I'm in my 50s. And a lot of things I'm doing now, trust me, I couldn't do it
amazing.
Your 50s. Yes, I'm in my 50s. So a lot of things I'm doing now, I could not have done them 20 years ago because I was really focused on being a mom. And so all these things are things that I've been able to do over time. And so I just did an article in The Guardian about having balance, work-life balance. And one of the things I said in that article is that at every two things. I love
that answer.
You know, because you know there are times as women we want to do every fair question that only women get asked. Because men are also trying to do all these things, but they never get asked, can a man have it? I've never heard, can a man have it all? But constantly you hear, can a woman have it all? And I always say, yes, we can, but maybe not at the same time. It's all about recognizing your season and what's important in that season.
So I watched your interview with Ibuka Woshika, like when a few months back.
Was that on IG?
Yes, I did.
That's my mentor right there, right there. Yes.
So I follow any opportunity. So when I saw an interview and I listened to you, I was like, this is somebody I'd love to talk to, and I was so surprised that it didn't even click until
wow, look at that.
I know this woman. I've seen her somewhere.
Yes.
When it comes to mentorship, many people feel, we all know the importance of having a mentor, and we talk about this thing all the time regarding how to relate, how to meet a mentor, and how to build a good relationship with their mentor that you would feel you could share with us now.
So, when it comes to mentorship, because people, and they just on the gut, they say, I want this person to be my mentor. But I think a mentor is something that is not a decision that you should take lightly. And one of the things we talked about in that conversation was, the first question you should ask yourself when you want to have a mentor is, why do I want to have a mentor? And also, you also want to look at the person that you want to have as a mentor. Do they reflect your goals, your values, your vision? And I always say that if you look at my own life and the people I have mentoring, like Mrs. Awishika, I always tell her that I feel like when I look at her, I say, when I go ghetto, this is what I want to be. And we just have so many things in common. She also has 3 boys. She's a pastor. She's a banker. So it's all about finding that person that would help you be the best version of yourself. And when I talk about mentor, one important thing to note about a mentor is, it is someone who has walked the path that you are trying to walk. So that is so key, because a mentor will be able to say to you, you know what? I've walked this path. I know what works. And so they can guide you in making the crucial decisions that you have to make.
Do you ever have down times? Because you look like such a cheerful, bubbly person. Like, does this person even cry?
Yes,
They get
yes. It's so interesting. This year did not start the way I envisioned. My mom passed away on the 19th of January, yes. And even recently I had a personal loss, and I've had things that have not gone the way I want, even in my career this year. And when people always tell me you're upbeat, maybe it's because I'm a Christian, not even that I'm a pastor. Because I'm a Christian, I try to have faith in God. And, the Bible says that God is able to make all things work together for good. So even when things are not working the way that I want them to, I say, you know what, I'm a big girl. My son called me yesterday, and it was so interesting. I told him, I said, do you know that this call really lifted me? Because literally 1 hour yesterday, I had to lock myself in my office and I was crying because I was just, but at the end of the day, you know what, you move on, and you just trust that things will have a way of working out. So I do have my downtime. Yesterday I had a downtime. 2 days ago I had a downtime. But this morning I got up and I was throughout on the way here, I was just playing some inspirational music, and that kind of got me in the right frame of mind.
I was going to say that, when you come to Nigeria sometimes, how has it been getting into the system, Nigerians, especially because Nigeria comes with a lot of pressure of the way you look, the way you are, the clothing, the dressing, the fashion. Abroad, you don't just wear a suit and you're okay. But here, there's a lot of pressure.
And I know exactly what you're saying. And this is what I say. Confidence is from within. And a lot of people that know me, I always say, I am so comfortable in my own skin. And so I don't even look at what the next person is doing. I'm not designer crazy. As long as it looks nice, you will see me in it. So it's all about your inner confidence. Because when you talk about all these external things, it's all about belonging. So you have to decide for yourself whether or not you want to be your true, authentic self. Because the other thing I've found out in Nigeria is that there's a lack of authenticity, but I stay true to myself, and that's really what my mantra is.
So down to earth me and quite relatable, and I love some of the words authenticity.
Yeah, you have to be your authentic self. When I live here now, we go all those titles, the bags and all that. I couldn't be bothered, honestly.
How is it being married to a fine
Please, you don't tell
her husband is
and I have
Pastor Matel.
handsome boys.
David and Daniel, right? I think David and Daniel too, right?
David Daniel.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yes. 3 boys. So I feel like a queen in my house. I'm the only woman in the house. People always ask me, how does it feel being the only woman? I said, I love it.
Let me tell you something. When I was younger, this was Pastor Matel's church.
Don't tell me.
And I didn't have a crush on my pastor, don't worry. But she was there. Pastor B was there. I cannot try it. But Pastor Matel was very tall, handsome, but strict. I have shared this story to them several times. There was a time that I went to the nightclub with my friends overnight. We were in Maryland with for 4 hours. We drove him back to New Jersey. I said, please drop me back in church. Pastor Matel will be there waiting for you.
I'm an usher.
I would drop in the car. I would remove all my spaghetti, everything, wear church clothes, enter church and go and usher because Pastor Matel was so strict. Even strict. So how is it? You know, being a wife to a pastor like that.
Funny.
I was going to ask about marriage as well. Because, you know, we spoke about seasons, and you're currently doing Nigeria, the US, and
by the way, my husband is on the plane. I'm going to the airport from here. So wow. That's why I'm even bubbly.
How is it living apart? You know?
Oh, wow. You know, so we've been married. It's going to be 30 years next year, actually. Yes. Yeah. We have our next anniversary is our 30th wedding anniversary. Wow. And what I always say to people is that it's about building a foundation. And so we have spent many, many years. I remember when I launched Women's Lifestyle Hub in December, and I had to acknowledge my husband, and I said that the reason I know a lot of women that their husbands do not support them, but my husband is very supportive because I also support him in the ministry. So I support him in the ministry and he supports me, and he genuinely sees that what I'm doing, I find such joy and fulfillment, and you cannot love a person and not want them to have joy and fulfillment in their life.
I love that. It's so honest, you know, because we would normally expect, but there has to be like a give and take.
Absolutely.
And because you're a pastor, and obviously pastor young people like her, what are some of the differences you would say American youth and Nigerian youth that you meet?
The truth is that there's really not much of a difference, and I think the reason is that everybody is exposed to social media now. You know, when I come to Nigeria, I am so amazed that even young adults in Nigeria, they know everything because there's nothing to hide. I mean, when we were growing up, you had to look for things to find them. So there's really not much of a difference. Even I dare to say that there children abroad, that I don't think it's actually a function of where you are. I think it's more a function of the upbringing. I have 3 boys, like I said, and I have a 28-year-old, I have a 26-year-old, and my baby is going to be 22. You know, look like and you know, I always say that as a mom, the best I can do is to sow the seeds in my children. So sow these seeds, and in time it will germinate. So my 2 oldest children, last year they moved to another state, and this is when I can really say that I see the fruit of all this seed, because now that they have to live by themselves and make all these decisions, my sons will say to me, 2 days ago I was talking to both of them.
Let me talk about intertribal marriage, because in Nigeria, I mean, we discuss it all the time. The husband and both of you are in intertribal marriage. How was it in the beginning?
My husband is a Yoruba.
I know he speaks Yoruba.
He just has an Igbo name. Let me just give you full disclosure there, because he grew up in Ibadan, and I always say that he speaks better Yoruba than even me. But there was still that element of a different culture that I had to adapt to. So that's always there. And I think that for me, one of the things I always say really helped me, in all truthfulness, is that my husband did not come from a big family, and so I didn't have to, and his stepdad, so I didn't really have a lot of, you know,
entourage of someone.
But I know people who are married to Igbo people that go to the East every year.
So I want to bring you back to business, talking about the fact that the board, you have different expressions. That's the way to put it. And how would you help someone navigate? You mentioned about focusing per time, but people transition and wonder how to deal with their transitions. So I find myself, I cannot advise somebody in their 40s or 50s because I've not experienced what you're going through. But what was opening up a different part of yourself? How do you go from one space into another?
It's really not very easy. For instance, I became an executive coach when I was 53. And I remember it's all about knowing what you want. It's about knowing what you want and setting what I always call attainable goals for yourself. So at that time, I was able to juggle it in a way that I was only here when I really needed to be. And thank God now with the advent of COVID, a lot of meetings we do now are even like on Zoom. So it's about I'm a very passionate person. So when I make up my mind I want to do something, I put all of myself into it. And at times I'll be like, you this girl, you won't kill yourself. Because I just put all of myself into it. I don't know how to do things in half measures. So when I'm doing it, whether I'm doing my podcasting, I'm doing it full stream. Honestly, when I want to be a mom, I just shut down. I will go into the kitchen, I will cook, cook. So, you know, it's just about having passion about what I find is that a lot of people do a lot of things, or they want to do a lot of things, not necessarily because they are passionate about it, but just because maybe they say this is what everybody is doing. But the key to really doing whatever you're doing well is to be passionate about it.
So, you have asked all the questions to me.
I was looking at you already. Go ahead.
I know you're excited. So there are people who decided to maybe put everything down and raise their kids. And in relaunching, sometimes they don't know how to go back. It's not like there was a job waiting for them before. They don't know how to start from the scratch. What would you advise someone who...
No, because that happened to me. Like I said, I'm a trained attorney, and I remember after I had my third son, because there was a little bit of a gap between my second and third son, because I thought I was done, but everybody was like, you have to have a girl, like I was in control of it. So I decided to get pregnant, and then I had another boy. But you know, after I had my third son, I kind of just took a break from being a lawyer. I went into real estate, and when I decided to go back into legal practice, it was tough. I couldn't even remember some of the legal terms, you know. Honestly, I remember coming over one day and I said to my husband, they were telling me redact document. I'm like, what is the meaning of redact? You know, so yeah, it is a reality that we have to face. But like I said, if you want it enough, of course, I have a friend that told me she went back to school to study law in her 40s. She was the oldest person in the class. Some people might not be able to have the threshold to do something like that. All about wanting it enough to be able to press through. Because I spent a big chunk of my life just being a mom. And, you know, I don't regret it, because those times where
your pedigree helped you a bit, you know, because of your father and how you grew up. You know, people always think that it's because your daddy is. No.
I didn't even see the daddy. I didn't know about the daddy, but I was just looking at the schools that she went.
You know, the interesting thing about my life is that I got married very early. I got married at 24. So I changed my name at 24. So the bulk had to, and there is a satisfaction I get from being able to do something by my own. And honestly, I always tell people that people don't even understand that my dad, he was very reluctant. And I said, okay, you know what? I want to do this thing. Let me even apply. And then I had to apply. They had to approve it. They had to go to CBN, and it was, oh, so really you can do it? I'm like, really? Everything I've done, I've been able to do it because I wanted it enough, and I put in everything to make it happen.
So how do you have fun? You know, do you like to travel? What makes you
I have a lot of fun. I have some girlfriends that honestly, because you know, I say when I do presentations, people say that work hard, play hard. That I say work hard, play harder. Play harder, because I love to have fun. You know, I have a bunch of girlfriends. If one of them, I call her Minister of Enjoyment. So like I said, in fact, I enjoyment. Because what I've found is that a lot of executive women, or women in general, we don't even know how to have fun. So, but I am the kind of person, they don't know. I can let down my hair and have fun.
Let me give an example. In church in Nigeria, you know, the women leader will say, women, let's come together, have fun. They'll show up and everybody's looking very serious. You know, even you as a church member, you're very prayer time. You're not even the prayer time. I don't even my prayer.
How do church women have fun?
How
my God. There are so many things people can do. Like, we're in America. People can go bowling. We do barbecues. There's so many things people can do. Travel. Go and we went to watch this show the other day. There's so many things you can do. And honestly, for me, I do things with my church family, but I have the most fun when I'm hanging out with my girlfriends. So I remember that. So I have the people, my girlfriends, we went to secondary school together. We went to Dubai. We're just all over the place. And I know that they are planning. We have our 30th anniversary coming up. So we are planning to actually do another getaway. So yeah,
maybe the church in Nigeria is not having so much fun.
No, but we're having fun.
The church in Texas.
No, they're having fun. We're having fun.
The kind of music they were playing. No church music, everything. Everything. The way they let down their hair.
No, but you see, my husband says something.
Okay.
That Christianity changes your heart, not your style. And I think a lot of people miss that. They feel that because I know a lot of people that they are very, very modest in appearance, but they are not modest. They are very wicked people, I'm sorry. But you will see people that they will show up, but they really, truly love God. I remember one time, this was when God set me free. I used to be also a bit particular when I first became a pastor's wife about the way people should dress and all that. And then I had this young lady come to church. You could tell this girl loved God. But she would come in her little mini dresses. And then one day God said to me, what you should be looking at is this girl's heart. Because I feel like at times, a lot of us are focused on the external. And we miss the internal. So like I said, God changes your heart. There are people that
Not your style.
Not your style. I like that. That's why I'm showing up like this.
I hear you talk about my girlfriends, my girlfriend.
Oh, yes.
You know,
his girlfriend.
They are watching, to build our own girlfriend.
So at the end of the day, somebody is watching and saying, I don't have girlfriends. You know, you're saying my secondary school, I don't have secondary school girlfriends.
Wow.
So how can somebody midlife get right?
Exactly. I live my life very intentionally. That's one of my core words that I use to live my life, intentionality. And so everything, even the Bible says, if you want to be a friend, show yourself friendly. So there are times you have to be intentional about cultivating friendships, nurturing the friendship.
Wisdom.
Wisdom is the principal thing. So you cannot harvest what you have not sown. So you have to sow into relationships.
Someone's talking to me right now.
But it's serious. You can't understand. Like, for instance, now I have this friend. She's basically my oldest friend. We've known each other since we were 6 because we went to primary school together. We went to secondary school together. So this year in May was our 30th wedding anniversary. And she calls me up and she was like, Bonali, I want you to not only come, I want you to officiate the renewal of vows. My husband and I, we want to renew our vows. And then also your chief bridesmaid. I was like, I'm on. So I literally left Nigeria. I was in Nigeria. I left Nigeria, got to the US. The next day, got on a plane to Atlanta because that was where they were having it. And honestly, my husband was like, you just get... And not only did I go, I carried my husband. I carried all my 3 children.
That's
because our oldest son is also friends with my oldest son. So I was like, let's just make this a family thing. We had so much fun. Intentionality. Intentionality. You have to cultivate
we have to
it.
go.
You have to invest.
There's a question in my mind.
Ask your question.
How are you preparing for the mother-in-law season?
How are you preparing? My 50th birthday. So they did an interview and they asked me, so what are you looking forward to next? I said, being a grandma. Yes. I tell myself, I say, Daniel, I got married at 24. Yeah, 28. Mommy, please. Just give me to 30. But honestly, I am really looking forward to being a grandma.
Mother-in-law.
Yes.
She will.
I think so.
Yeah, she will.
I remember that I was talking to a friend of mine and I was like, oh my God, he also has 3 boys. And I was like, oh, I have 3 boys. And I said, don't worry. I've made up my mind. I will be the best father-in-law to my daughter. And that is my own promise to that. I will be the best.
We have to run.
Mother I love.
Let me give you 30 seconds to just share a word of advice to women out there.
All right.
With a career, trying to just get their life on track.
Okay, ladies, if you are watching, like I said, a woman can have it all. It's about being intentional. It's about recognizing the seasons. It's about being passionate about what you want. And all I want to say to you, go for it. And I'll be cheering you all the way.
Wow. So tomorrow's show is very important because we're going to be discussing and reviewing the Tribunal. But it's happening today, so please don't miss tomorrow's show. We'd like to hear your views, your thoughts on whatever happens. Please stay safe, be safe, and put Nigeria first. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Bye.